Hello there, Kenobi. Hi everyone, welcome back to Return of the Nerd. This is my vlog for the week, and I am behind schedule. I'm very behind schedule. This week it was just like an avalanche of information. I did watch the fan stream, and I thought that it was probably the best one that I've seen in terms of reveals since I started doing this. I started collecting in 2019. And we had this really cool discussion on my channel, because I did a shorts and we talked about, now is the 10-year anniversary of the Black Series, and so that's what, this guy was the first one. So we've gone from this Luke to, the new Mandalorian Luke. And I asked everybody to, in the comment section, just tell me like what year and which figure was your first figure, like which year did you start collecting? And I got some really interesting comments. That's actually one of my favorite things to do now, is like the community tab on YouTube, where you can just talk to people and you can do a survey and share other people's toy photography and stuff. And also just the comment section under each video I find fascinating. I'm learning so much, so thank you everyone for participating. So yeah, the fan stream was really good. I didn't like the way it was presented, with everybody in their separate, it's like they're all Skyping each other or using Zoom chat. It kind of looks weird. And I know that, well, we all know that Hasbro have a podcasting live stream studio at their headquarters, right? Because they use it all the time for G.I. Joe and Transformers. So what happened to that? I think that would be much better. But in terms of like the actual content, the reveals, I was like, wow, I was like kind of blown away how good they were. So I'm going to go through that today, and also go through some other stuff as well that's happened recently, because our store, it's January, it just was already February. I can't believe how quickly that first month went. We struggled in the first month of this year because our orders were all cut by the wholesalers, by Hasbro, and also there were a lot of delays due to Chinese New Year, so it was like a real sluggish, slow pace. And I really hope that next year that does not happen again, because the whole point of having Chinese New Year is so that, the retailers can make money, because a lot, it's a tradition to get a red envelope stuffed full of cash, and the kids and adults as well, they'll get their end of year bonus, and everybody has a little bit of extra money that they want to spend. And it's like Christmas for Western culture, so you'd expect that the retailers have prepared a lot of items and got them into the stores on time, ready for Chinese New Year, but it didn't happen. It was kind of weird, so that was very disappointing. And I've spoken to some people in Hasbro about the situation with Robot Kingdom, who sold stock with the Taiwanese import label on the back, which is that's a big no-no. You shouldn't do that. And they assured me that it was just a mistake and it wasn't done on purpose, so that's good. Let's hope that's just a one-off, because that would be, that's not helping, because distribution doesn't have a good reputation. I think we really need to improve that. I think later on in the video I'm going to focus a little bit more on the business aspect as well. So first of all, I'm going to go through the fan stream. And so with the Black Series, we'll do that first. The Black Series, there weren't any reveals that I thought, like, I didn't like that, or I don't think that will sell. I think everything was like really sellable, And in terms of, we always get like repaints and repacks and stuff, right? But actually, I quite like the Revenge of the Sith concept. That's very creative. You've got, obviously it's Darth Vader, and he's been repainted. But the way that the marketing team had packaged it, I thought that's clever, because it was originally, the name was Revenge of the Jedi. It wasn't Return of the Jedi. It was changed at the last moment. I do remember as a kid seeing a lot of posters that had Revenge on it, and I was like, oh, wait, that doesn't make any sense. And so this one, I think, is really a good one for people of my generation, people who are looking back at the past, at their childhood, and they're like, oh, I remember that time. This will be good, I think. And I like the fact that you have the poster on the front and it slides off, and then you've got that nice, I like the tray, right? This is obviously going to be a convention exclusive, and I think it could be released at the upcoming Star Wars celebration, which is in Europe this year. I know a lot of friends of mine who are in the UK are going to that. I really wish I was living in the UK right now, but I'm not. I'm stuck here in Taiwan. Yeah, I thought that was okay. I was happy with that. And in terms of like Return of the Jedi, the card backs, I didn't realize we were having 3 waves. That's a lot. So we've got three waves. You've got 5 in each, so that's 15. And then attached to each wave, there's 1, which is a deluxe. So for the first wave, you've got the repack of the Boba Fett, deluxe Boba Fett. And then for the second wave, you've got the Gamorrean Guard, fantastic. And then for the third wave, there's just this kind of question mark because, okay, finally we had the Endor Rebel Trooper revealed, and it's got 2 faces. It's a bit like the Hoth Trooper that came out several years ago, where you can switch faces, and one of the faces is Captain Rex. It's Rex, okay? And that is just awesome, and people are just gonna army build that one. It's gonna fly, man. That is gonna be so super hot. But it's like, is that the deluxe one, or is that part of the 5? Because I'm a little bit unsure. If anyone knows the answer to that, again, in the comment section, you can help me out, because that will help me with my pre-orders from Hasbro. Yeah, I'm loving the Return of the Jedi card backs because of my age. I'm 50. I grew up with the original trilogy. I didn't collect any of those figures in the Galaxy line. I missed out because at that time we were deep into COVID, and my business was like struggling, and I didn't have any of my own cash to spend on myself. So I was like, oh man, I had to give everything away to customers, you know. And that's the thing, is when you run a business, you better be prepared to sacrifice your own collection, you know, for the greater good. You need to be like Saw Gerrera. Yeah, and like with the other stuff, let's have a look here. We've also got the Adimundi, the prequel Jedi, which looks absolutely fantastic, but we're not sure when we're getting it, because most of these was saying that there are no pre-orders, which is really weird. Like even Yakface on his Instagram was like having to remind people, was like, I'm so sorry, I can't post the link. Like this, there's no pre-orders for any of these figures. It's so strange. And but Akimundi is slated to come, I think, in 2024, which is weird because the whole point of this fan stream was to introduce the selection of items that are coming this year. And I'm like, oh, but that's next. Okay, anyway. But anyway, looks good. That's definitely going to fly. Now, there's some controversy. ARC Trooper Jesse has finally been released in the Black Series, and he was released on the TVC on the Bubble, the cardback, and people were pissed because his helmet is not entirely screen accurate, and so at that time there was lots of feedback given to Hasbro, and they were told that like this is not entirely correct. So, you know, they are aware of this mistake, and then we've got images. And just remember, these are images. We don't actually have any real, like, we don't have the physical action figure yet. So I don't know, they might make changes to it. I guess if you guys make enough noise and complain, then they might change the helmet. But I watched, who was it? Luke Ness Monster was so angry. I watched his rant about Jesse, and I love how passionate he is about the Clone Wars, because I'm not that generation. So I have to spend a lot of time. This is my daily habit, right? I wake up and I watch Luke Ness Monster. I watch Oakhurst Studios, Vern. I watch who else? You've got like Landspeeder Luke. You've got Bosk's Bounty. I mean Sean Solo and 8. And so every day I have to study. I have to do my homework so I know what the frick I'm talking about, and also, you know, because I'm selling these, right? So I was thinking, like, it's kind of weird that you're Hasbro and you create these action figures, but at the same time, are you looking at the source material when you design them? Because clearly the helmet is off. Yeah, it's weird. Like, you should be doing your homework. And the clones that I have, I really love them. So I got his Echo, right, from the last time. And his helmet is, it's got the fin here, right? So I was trying to, and also this comes off. You've got the removable helmet, and I was thinking, I don't have Rex. I wanted to compare this one with Rex's to see if it was the same, because I noticed that some of the ARC Troopers, they don't have that like shark fin sticking out of the back. They just have like this guy here, where it just goes straight round like that. So I think that this is what Jesse's supposed to look like. And you can correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, okay? He's supposed to have that smooth semicircle, and also He doesn't have a rangefinder, so that needs to come off, and I think a lot of people will just like remove it by themselves. And yeah, tell me, like, the paint apps, what's the deal with the paint? Is the paint correct or not correct? I'm not sure. So it's a bit weird. And yes, Hasbro have released the ARC Trooper body many times before. Like, for example, we got this cool figure. This was like supposed to be like a Fordo, right? And we got him, but this is not removable. Okay, this is not a removable helmet. All right, so maybe they're just reusing the Rex and the Echo ARC Trooper helmet because it saves them money. It could be that. And I was looking at, oh yeah, also Wolf. I mean, his helmet's very unique. So if they can make Wolf, because Wolf has a Wolf has a removable helmet, right? Commander Wolf. And his helmet is not the same as those other two guys. Like, he's very, very unique. So like, if they can do it for Wolf, you know, so why can't they do it for Jesse? Kind of weird that. So yeah, it's like I think half the fans are like annoyed and pissed off, but the other half are like, okay, we're just really happy to finally get Jesse at last, so we'll just take it. It's still gonna be really hot, but that's weird. Why would Hasbro do that 2 times in a row, you know? Anyway, right, moving on. Let's talk about, let's have a look. Any more Black Series? What else is coming up in the Black Series? I think that there was the helmet, right? We've got the Scout Trooper helmet, which is that's also gonna be very popular. And it has that new, like, folding, the visor that flips up at the front. Chris was quite funny on the live stream. He couldn't wait to put that on. And he was just wearing it. I think I'd probably do that as well. I actually found that a lot of the helmets don't fit my head. I've got this really weird, big peanut shaped head that's like just out of proportion and doesn't fit those helmets. So every time we get like a bigger helmet, like I think it was the last one, the Darth Vader helmet, and I think perhaps this one as well that's slightly bigger, I think I'll probably be able to wear it. I'm looking forward to the Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet. I've already ordered it. Like recently, my company, we've ordered a bunch of really cool stuff. Like, so for the TVC, we've ordered the bunker set, the speeder bike with the biker scout who looks like Captain Rex, and we've got the Paz Vizsla at last, the deluxe. He's just so beautiful. We've also ordered Scorch for the Black Series. We've got the Battle Droid and the other Gaming Greats one as well. I can't remember who that is. Queenie! Oh, thank you. The Rocket, that's my assistant. The Rocket Launcher Trooper as well. That's really nice. So we've ordered those. Yeah, so it's just so much stuff I'm waiting for. I'm getting so super excited. And yeah, so this year I'm gonna start building a little helmet collection. I'm not gonna go too crazy, all right? But you can see behind me I've got like the original Boba Fett. I actually love that one, and that's my first one. So my second one will be the white Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet, and then the third one's probably going to be this one, the Biker Scout Bucket. So I'm going to try and join some of those bucket groups on Facebook. Okay, next is the Black Series pipeline reveals. You know, they always do this at the end of the live stream. And we've got Luke Skywalker and Grogu, the build-up pack. So that's obviously going to be a deluxe one. And obviously, it's going to be like, where is he? Wait a minute. Luke! As my Aunt Baruch impression. So it's going to be this guy, you know, the new one that just came out. Imperial Light Cruiser Luke. I think it'll be this guy. And they'll give him the, I don't know, the Empire Strikes Back Dagobah, the training backpack, and then they'll stuff Grogu in there, so we're getting Grogu again. I don't think that's going to be very popular. I mean, I'm still going to get it from my store, okay, because I know that some people will insist because they're completionists, but I don't think that's going to be super popular. And Darth Malgus, which is a deluxe, will be very popular. I think that will be a big chunky figure, like, you know, Ned B or Wrecker. Boom. I think that's going to really, even with the price hike, I think people are going to go crazy for that one. And then lastly, there was another bucket. It's the Ahsoka Loyalist helmet, which I think is beautiful. And I still have not managed to pick up a Black Series or TVC carded Ahsoka Loyalist figure. You know, I really like the orange, the pattern on the helmet, and this, you know, that last season of the Clone Wars in Season 7 was so freaking cool. I need to get more of the characters from that last season. To be honest with you, my collection still has lots of little gaps in it. Okay, it's 3.75 time, the TVC. So I was like super blown away with the selection we got, and the one that really stood out was the Darth Vader. Okay, so this is the Dark Times Vader that came out, and they've reused that body, and basically you've got like his hand is cut off, and you can actually put the hand back on again, and you've got his helmet has like 3 pieces. You take it off, and then you've got his the Vader underneath from the scene where he says you know, he redeems himself, and Luke says, "I have to save you." "You already have, my son." Is it Sebastian Shaw? I guess this one is Sebastian Shaw's face sculpt. I couldn't really see it too carefully, but that's going to be, out of all of the reveals for the vintage collection, that one's going to sell the most. So I hope I can get a shit ton. The next one that was really good is, because we had the bunker set, and that's coming up soon, we're also getting some figures to actually put in that, you know, because world building is very important. So, you know, what's the point in giving us a diorama or a playset and then not giving us any figures to go in it? They're giving us a new Han Solo, which is retooled from the waist up, and I think it's quite cool. I like it. I should buy it, and I might get 2. I'll get 1 because I like the image on the card back, and I also want 1 for my bunker. And it reminded me that I do have an old Han Solo from from Japan. This one here, look how old this one is. So this is the old Endor bunker scene Han Solo from like way back, and it comes with accessories. He's got like the explosives that you have to like stick on the wall. So I might actually use this one for my new TVC bunker. I got so much old stuff lying around here. Yeah, and then we got Admiral Piet, who's awesome, and he's like fully like new molded, you know, 3.75 figure, and he's got the barbell hips and the like the super, you know, the feet are like really cool. He's got the rockers and stuff. Someone on Instagram was saying, I'll have to post that later, was saying that now that Hasbro have this ultimate Imperial officer body, they can now like probably come up with at least like, I don't know, like 50 Imperial officers, and just on an assembly line, and just like reel those out for us. So that will be cool. Then we had the 4-pack, the Clone Trooper set, which is the 212th, and one of them, I can't remember the name. I'm guessing off the top of my head, it's called Hatch. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's Hatch, and he has like some really cool artwork on his helmet, and he's got like the kill marks and stuff. I like that. Yeah, I'll definitely be getting that, and I'll definitely be getting the phase 1, the TVC Clone Trooper, and also there's a repack because the pillbox had the wrong name. Is it? I can't remember. Is it Havoc? No, it's not that one, is it? It's oh, what's his name? Hauser. I think it's the Clone Trooper Hauser, and they've changed the name in the pillbox, but it's a re-release. I think that's okay for me because I found it extremely difficult to get him when he came out last time, and I know there's lots of collectors here in Taiwan that are like still begging for him, so that's fine. Sometimes, you know, when Hasbro do the straight repacks like that, I'm not against it because it's the demand is very high and the supply is very low. So I mean, it's if it can be released a second time, like, bring it on. And then the last one was the Starkiller. We already knew that one was coming, so that's we've got Starkiller coming in a vintage collection. Let's have a look at the pipelines. I don't really want to get into the retro collection because I've tried selling them and it's too difficult. Like, it's so hard to sell the retro collection. A lot of people here in Asia just don't have that emotional connection with the 5 POA, points of articulation, like I did. Like, I grew up with Kenner, so all my figures had only 5 points of articulation, but if you sell that to a market like here in Asia, where you've got Star Wars fans are much younger than me. I'm over 50, and most of the hardcore Star Wars fans in Asia are like 30 something. and they grew up watching the Clone Wars cartoon and watching the prequel movies, so they're really heavily into that Clone Wars era, and they're not so attached to like figures with 5 points of articulation, and also with like it's quite hard to sell original trilogy stuff as well in Southeast Asia. It's quite difficult. I found that like places like Japan and Hong Kong and Singapore have they have an older age group like myself, who are like 50 and above, who watched the original Star Wars trilogy and they collected the Kenner toys. But in Taiwan, it's very different. Like I found that like Indonesia, Taiwan, Malaysia, there are other places in like around this location in Southeast Asia which like they're not into the original trilogy. They've watched it and gone, oh, that's good, but they don't want to collect. Doesn't necessarily mean they want to collect any merchandise connected to those movies, right? So I think people, when they decide with their wallet, they think, nostalgia. They need to have some kind of psychological, emotional connection to the product they're buying. So here I tend to try to focus on prequel and Clone Wars items. But of course, that's in a perfect world. Like I also have to try to find collectors who are willing to collect that much older stuff as well for the trilogy series. So for the pipeline vintage collection figures, we got Luke again when he's training with Grogu. We've also got a double pack, and I think this is the first ever double pack for the vintage collection. We've got Obi-Wan with the duel, him and Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker. So I'm just wondering, is that going to have the cracked helmet, and we're going to see part of Anakin's his Sith eye? Maybe that would be really good. And we've also got some vehicles. The Mandalorian season 1, the biker scout. But it's like, come on, this is so ridiculously overdue. This should have come out like 3 years ago. And then is it called the N1 Starfighter, the Naboo Starfighter, which was seen in season 2 of The Mandalorian. I think that will be very popular. And yeah, I just like blown away with like the selection. It was quite a lot of, because usually when they do the fan streams, like the live streams, there's not like the quantity that they reveal is not usually that heavy. So I found it quite difficult to digest all the information.
Fuck! Remember your pressure points.
Do I exercise?
Alright, that's enough. Be quiet, Gary. I shall see you in the next one. Don't forget to keep following Return of the Nerd. And I've got like usually 2 long videos that I do every week and 2 shorts. And yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm everywhere. Alright, this is the way.
The Death Star plans are not in the main computer.